So we are now 2 days removed from LSU losing to Vanderbilt in Nashville, and the season, I mean, it's over. We can be honest about it. It's super depressing to once again not even make it to November, and your team is already out of playoff contention, basically. I mean, we can tell ourselves we got a shot, but I mean, we all have eyes and ears. We can see what the product on the field is. We've had same head coach for 4 seasons now. It's the same thing every time. So kind of know how this last stretch of the season is going to play out, but it's over. I mean, that's where we're at in the BK era. It is over. Vanderbilt was our nuke. As sad as that is, I cannot believe that Vanderbilt's going to be like the real nail in the coffin of the BK era because I don't care how many more games he coaches. I don't care if he gets fired after this year, next year, God forbid longer than that. But whenever people look back, people will be like, the Vanderbilt game was when the music died, so to say. Like, he's completely lost the entire fan base at this point. Zero hope for finishing this year strong. I don't even think anyone thinks we'll lose only one more game. Everything I see and I would agree with is that there's a chance we lose almost every game we play to finish the season. And it's just sad. I just want to get on here and say we as a fan base have to make a stand and we have to pull a pseudo A&M Mark Stoops situation. I'll explain what I mean. Right now, you're going to see everyone's just going to assume that Brian Kelly's coming back for next year. $50 million buyout. LSU's not the richest school. No way we can pay that. But everyone's parroting the idea that next year we could because it goes from 50 to 40. But that doesn't make sense because there's no shot you're bringing back the offensive staff next year if you keep BK. You're definitely making a few changes. Sloan for sure and Brad Davis for sure. I think Cortez Hankton is probably in that conversation as well. And people forget the head coach isn't the only one that has a buyout. The assistant, it works the same way. I'm not sure what the entire offensive staff makes. I know Sloan makes almost $1 million a year and he's got multiple years left on his deal. So that's a healthy 7 figures right there. And then you got to go out and replace these guys. And another problem I don't think we're realizing yet is what assistant coach is going to want to come here and hitch their wagon to Brian Kelly, who if he makes it through this year, he's going to be looked as a dead man walking. It's like Billy Napier situation all over again. But also, it would probably be worse because we know good vibes, like they kind of had that little run at the end of last year, of course, beating us. Uh, so we need to do a pseudo A&M. People forget A&M was hiring Mark Stoops to replace Jimbo. And Texas Ag and their own media and all their fans have such a visceral reaction, as they should. A crazy choice. Did they end up going with their B plan, I guess, in Elko? And I mean, that worked out infinitely better than if they kept Stoops. And you see the position there on 2 years post that. So people forget, think, we're completely powerless. We're relying on Woodward, the Board of Regents, the donors, the boosters. But people forget in sports, perception is reality, and especially in college football where it's all about fundraising and getting kids to buy into the program. If we turn up the heat on this administration and let them know that it is completely unacceptable to bring back Brian Kelly and these coaches, I think they can get it done. I think we just got to look at Woodward and say, hey, buddy, you got us into this mess. You need to figure it the fuck out and raise that money because there's just no point in going in the next year with Brian Kelly. Kind of bringing back to the Billy Napier point and Jimbo to a lesser extent. Like, you think Florida wishes they just got rid of Billy Napier last year instead of just completely wasting whatever money and hope went into this season? And in the same vein, you know, A&M, they're not regretting their decision to pay that buyout. I know it's a little bit different situation because of the money they have, but still, you can't tell me with how big LSU's brand is that Scott Woodward and company could not figure a way to raise the money for a buyout now. It's a lot more money they're gonna have to raise than 50 million. I think I saw a number for Florida State and Norvell. Who he got his contract re-upped like 2 years ago, but the total all in to get rid of everyone and I think bringing new staff in is 100 million. That's probably what we're looking at. But hey, man, it's 2025. We got to do it. I'm not trying to sit here and wait till 2030 to get a new coach in 2 years and then give him a year or two. Like that's going to take such a hit on the brand. We can't let it happen. And one thing I'll say is right now our media is too at odds with each other. I've never seen this before, but the amount of infighting between LSU media and members is crazy. Between Fehoko coming out swinging randomly out of nowhere, getting in the media. Good for him. He makes some good points. Him and Rufino, they got a huge beef, and then Rufino with Lon. We got to get in unison and start putting the pressure on this administration and let them know that we cannot have Brian Kelly come back here next year under any circumstances. That includes Toscano. That includes, Hester and them. It needs to be a concentrated effort because, I mean, we cannot do this. I mean, can you imagine sitting here the same time next year and Lane Kiffin's at Florida, say Summerall goes to Auburn or Arkansas or something, and they're crushing, and how shitty we're going to feel knowing we could have had any coach we wanted, but yet we sat on our ass and kept Brian Kelly, and now we can't get any of these guys ever again. That's not a world I want to live in. So LSU media, lock in. Someone's got to say it. Let's get Brian Kelly gone.